Freemasonry is a real-time MBA program, right? And it's one of those where you understand how to manage a business, how to manage emotions, and you're doing it in an all-volunteer organization who people pay to be a part of this.
I
That
know,
adds to the
right?
challenge. So
Right.
it's really
Totally
unique.
agree. Somebody, their, our members are paying. We're paying
Yeah.
to be
Yeah. Right.
to serve.
Yes. But I
Yes.
mean, it's going towards a good cause.
Yes. I was in maybe in second year in high school when I first saw the monitor, and I opened it and I can't even read it. Then my dad always tells me the good things about being a Mason. Someone's always gonna be there for you, and you. I started looking at who's the members of the fraternity. You see the heroes of every countries,
Yeah.
and you start thinking there must be something about this fraternity that is really great. So from when I from then on, I started thinking I want to become a Mason, and
Good evening and welcome back to our seventh podcast. My name is Brother Pete Marceliana, and with me, as always, is Brother Gabe Mariscal.
Good evening. We are proud members of General Douglas MacArthur Lodge number 853 in Sacramento. And we again welcome you to another special presentation highlighting some of the most talented Freemasons in California today.
So, all right, tonight we have the honor of introducing the incoming worshipful master of General Douglas MacArthur Lodge number 853, Brother June Constantino. Welcome. Brother June has just over a decade of Masonic service where he has served in almost every office of our Masonic Lodge.
Definitely. So he's a devotedly married to his charming wife, May, and is a proud father of three beautiful daughters. His distinguished career includes retirement from the California Department of Corrections, an honorable service as a United States Navy veteran. He served as a corpsman on the USS Incheon, with notable deployments including 2 missions to the Mediterranean and a tenure in Balboa Naval Hospital, with a final deployment to Afghanistan. Brother June,
hello everyone.
thank you for your service.
Thank you,
Thank you for
worshipful.
service.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brother Pete. Thank you for inviting me into this podcast. It's really an honor to be here, and really humbling. Thank you.
We're definitely happy to have you here. And tonight's a special night, so we're giving our audience an inside look as to who you are as a leader, and what helped shape you as that, and also a little sneak preview of what you have in planned for the lodge in 2024. So,
Like you mentioned, I was a veteran of the U.S. Navy and the Department of Corrections, but in the U.S. Navy, um, you know, you were also in the military, and one thing that is kind of ingrained in the military is becoming a leader because you have to lead other ranking personnel before you, right? So it's kind of forces you to become a leader.
so take us back to right before joining the Navy. Where were you living? Tell us about your family. Tell us kind of your teenage years and how you got to where I'm joining the Navy.
Oh yeah, I joined the Navy 3 months before I got here from Philippines. I barely spoke English. Of course, we learned the how to read and write and to speak in Philippines, but we don't use it every day. So it's not something. It was hard for me when I
Sure.
first got here.
Yeah.
And before I joined, I was actually had like I said, 3 months in here. I worked for a month in Packard Bell in Fruit Ridge, and I couldn't even understand my boss. So, but my mom called the recruiter, and I took the test, and within like within 10 days, I was in boot camp.
Wow. And what year was this?
This was in 1996.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your mom calls the Navy recruiter. Was she in the Philippines, and was she kind of? Tell me about like how that happened.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I said, we just got here. I don't know what to do. Before moving, I didn't work in Philippines. I was a student in accounting, third year in college. Not in the world, right?
Yeah.
You just got here. We were living in my aunt's house. We had money to come here, but we don't have money to. My parents didn't have money
Sure.
for me to go to college.
Mhm.
So I think that was the main reason why my mom called. I mean, she probably didn't want me because what I was doing part of it was I was scrubbing computers,
Mm.
and she probably didn't have better things to do than doing that. So
Sure.
she did call the recruiter, and like I said, within 10 days, I was already off in boot camp.
And so what job did you take, and like how did you make that decision? Were there options as far as what you could do to serve? And tell us about that.
Oh yeah, my recruiter. I guess I did good in the ASVAB test, and my recruiter he told me that yeah, be medical. Your job will be light. You'll be easy, and yeah. So I went to the MEP station in Concord.
Mm.
Took the test there, and everybody said, "Yeah, you did good. You did good. If you were, I'm sure they probably say this to everybody. If you were a citizen, you could have been a nuclear power tech or something like that. But here, you'll be you're gonna be a corpsman. You're gonna be in medical, and you're never gonna be in a ship. You're gonna be part of you're gonna be in a TAR program. That's what they call it, Training and Administration of Reserves.
Ah.
You'll be in a TAR program. You'll never be in the ship, so you're just gonna deal with the reserves. Okay. First duty station after boot camp, ship. I was young,
That's a good experience. How old were you?
I was 19 back then.
Okay.
19 years old.
Yeah.
So
So you went to boot camp. Is it called boot camp for Navy?
yes.
So you go to Great Lakes, Michigan, right?
Yeah. Great
you-
mistakes.
did-
is what they call it.
Was it cold, or was that what year or what month did you go in?
Oh yeah. I came in August. I think August 19th or something like
Okay.
that. August 19th, and then I graduated maybe in October. But our corpsman school is also in Great Lakes.
Oh,
So and that's like 4 months.
oh wow.
4 months corpsman school. So it runs through the winter time.
Sure.
But the good thing is, when I went to corpsman school, like I said, I had a good ASVAB score. So they look at that. Oh, who's gonna be they made me a color guard. So
Okay.
all I did was raise and lower the flag.
Okay.
And do present the flag during ceremonies,
Got
things
it.
like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to clean the snow outside or do any duty things,
Yeah. Oh, that's
like
cool.
stand watch or things like that.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do that.
So okay. So you're there. You go through your corpsman school. You said you're a reserve, so you're gonna come back here to California. Is that correct? Or you said your first duty assignment? So tell me like how you went from training to the fleet.
Well, actually, it is. I'm in the reserve, but I'm active duty. So we're active duty reserve.
Ah.
We're mainly we're active duty who takes care of the reservists. We're in the ones in the reserve stations. We're the ones that's always there.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. But so after the corpsman school, like I said, my recruiter, you'll never be in a ship. And we started picking orders, and I wanted to go back here in California,
Mhm.
but the guy, the detailer said, "You don't want to go back. You don't want to go back home. I'll send you to Texas," and that's where the home port for my ship is.
Okay,
Texas.
What part of Texas? Down south, obviously, right?
In Ingleside, yeah, it's like 45 minutes from Corpus Christi. It's really a small base. and it's already closed now because really nothing's happening in the.
Sure.
There's not even a McDonald's in that.
Oh my
town.
goodness. Oh my goodness. So how long did you stay there?
I was there for. I was assigned to the ship for 3.5 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had fun.
And
It was
so- I'm sure, like, just 19, 20, young out there, kind of exploring life, and so you're going through training, you're doing all that. What happens, kind of after that? So after 3 years, you come back to California, or tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed my life in the ship, right? So I was gonna go to another ship in Hawaii. I think if I can remember it correctly, it's USS Kennedy, but my orders got canceled there, so I don't know where to go. And my senior chief, told me there's an opening in the reserve center in Sacramento. I'll go there.
Yeah.
I'll go home.
Close to home, yeah.
Yeah, so I was from the ship. I was stationed here in the reserve center here for about 3 years, and I took care of the. I was in the guy that I replaced. He was a chief, and I never saw the guy. And they were in process of moving their office from lower level to the second floor. So it was everything was in shambles, and
You just kind of did it.
yeah. And I was only second class back then, E5, and I took care of the. I was. They made me the medical department head, which is only like I only supervised 2 corpsmen, but on the reserves on a drill weekend, there's a lot more.
Sure, yeah.
But I was in charge of the medical records and everything that happens.
So is that the same, like the core branch? I guess that's my question. When you became a reservist. Oh,
Yeah, it was still the Navy.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
But the place is called the Navy and Marine Corps Reserve Center because
Gotcha.
half of the place is run by the Navy, and half is run by the Marines.
Gotcha. At least you're home.
yeah.
Awesome. Ready for the next question?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so congratulations again on your election as the worshipful master.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
Worshipful.
awesome.
And what we want to find out is when did you hear about Freemasonry, and what first drew you in?
Yeah, I started when I was really young. My dad was a Mason in the Philippines,
Oh wow.
so
Legacy.
I think I was maybe in second year in high school when I first saw the monitor, and I opened it and I can't even read it. Then my dad always tells me the good things about being a Mason. Someone's always gonna be there for you. And I started looking at who's the members of the fraternity. You see the heroes of every country,
Yeah.
and you start thinking there must be something about this fraternity that is really great. So from when from then on, I started thinking I want to become a Mason. And
And how old? Like, when did that happen? Like, how old are you then? And was your dad is your dad still with us?
yes, he is.
Oh, awesome.
He'll be in our installation, but he actually got out from the fraternity now. He's not doing anything. He's staying at home now. But like I said, it was high school time. From that moment, I really wanted to become a Mason. In my mind, in my heart, I'm gonna be a Mason when I grow up. And I know on the I joined the fraternity in 2023, which is 10 years ago, but I actually applied. My first application that I actually filled out was 10 years before that.
Oh wow.
At the reserve center, they were giving me I was given an application. I filled it out, and there's another member of a fraternity that actually interviewed me right there in the reserve center.
Oh wow.
But then uh, May, my wife, she got pregnant, and I had to put that in the back seat.
Sure.
Yeah.
What lodge was that you were mentioning about?
I don't even know. It was in the reserve center. There's a
Oh, they have their own lodge. The reserve.
like I said, I can't
you're
even
not sure.
remember.
That would be interesting if you find out.
I
what
know,
that lodge is. Yeah, interesting.
That's definitely interesting. With that, so what was your relationship like with your dad? And was he in the Philippines when you moved over here? And how did you see him as, you know, when you knew that he was a Mason and you knew that there was something special about Masonry? Like, what did your relationship evolve into? Did he take, like, did his character, like, play a big role into your life, or?
Yes. Well, he came here with us in 1996 when we immigrated from Philippines. But in Philippines, he was, I would say, a higher ranking official because he was a provincial agrarian reform officer for the whole province. So I've seen people look up to him, and he leads he has people working for him, and I see him as a leader too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I saw him as a great man. So I just thought that Freemasonry has something to do with that.
Yeah, that's special. Yeah. Wow.
Just kind of. I don't remember if you have a sibling, a brother.
I have 3 sisters.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
You have 3 sisters and 3 daughters.
3 daughters, yes.
Yeah. so
Two
yeah.
female dogs.
I was gonna ask, like, is your brother a brother? You know, like, you know, but yeah, it's sisters. Yeah, gotcha. All right.
Is your brother a Mason too?
No, I have 3 sisters.
3
I'm
sisters.
sorry,
yeah,
yeah.
that's why I asked. It's like,
He jacked me because I was just thinking in my mind. I was like, oh, we're part of the 3-daughter fraternity here.
oh.
So I get it. Like, you live in a sorority, bro. Like, I get it.
I have 2 older sisters, and I know similar, not the same.
I have a brother-in-law, May's sister, who has 3 daughters too. No, so,
Oh.
so we're like surrounded of.
Yeah. The sorority. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. So okay. So fast forwarding, but yet thinking back to, and we were having this conversation earlier as far as when you were coming into Masonry, to General Douglas MacArthur in particular, was there kind of an expectation that when you come into this lodge, like that you're going to grow with it, in the sense that the possibility or the probability of you becoming an officer was kind of like expected?
No, I didn't. I never had that. I just wanted to be part of the fraternity
Mhm.
and join how it is, and what is in the fraternity that makes a person be a better man. And that's more because I'm curious about learning. I'm always curious about learning. I want to learn a lot. And another reason is I was gonna retire from the military service, and I'm gonna have a lot of time. The things that I spend on my reserve drill weekends, it's gonna open up, and I'm gonna miss the camaraderie in the
Mhm.
military. And I was hoping I'm gonna find that too in the fraternity.
Yeah.
That's why another reason where. And
You
it
probably
is-
got more than you bargained for.
yeah.
Fellowship and all the
Right.
camaraderie.
Yeah.
And so thinking back to when you were kind of first starting off as a Mason here in Sacramento with GDML, the first time you were appointed as an officer, was a senior steward. It was one of the kind of entry chairs, correct?
It was Marshall.
Gotcha. Okay, so Marshall. So you go from Marshall, then you go to junior deacon, which, for those who don't know what that is, it's the person that kind of watches the door, and it's a small part in the ceremonies of Masonry. Very, very small part. And that's kind of, in my opinion, is kind of that big hurdle. It's like, do you pass junior warden? Because the next position is junior deacon. Do you pass junior deacon? Because the next position is senior deacon, right? And with that senior deacon comes a lot more responsibility. You have the memorization of the ritual work. You have to understand it. Like, you're that person that is now kind of taking potential candidates and making them Masons. You have a big part in that. So going back to that question, like, tell me how you felt when you were like, oh my goodness, I'm the senior deacon, because I'm now in the line.
Yeah, the senior deacon position. It was when I started working in that position. When I was given, when I was appointed, it was kind of, I didn't worry too much about it, because the 357 as when you escort the candidates throughout the
degree.
to
The
the
ceremonies.
the ceremonies, part of the ceremonies. A lot of that already have it in my mind. There's only a few. We already started even before I became an officer, because there was a competition for that, and a lot of us started working on that. So I was a little confident that I can do it, but I didn't realize how much floor work, how much work the senior deacon does.
Right. Yeah. I call it the hot seat.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
you're the one that's out there. Like, it is for a lot of the the degrees. It's you and the master that are working, right? And you have a very big part in that. And
Very big.
And so, like, I guess I'm just trying to figure out again, how were all those? So the qualifications were pretty easy. What was that next jump from that to the junior warden as far as qualifications? And did you have the same, like, confidence?
When I got to the junior warden, it was like, I feel that it was a lot easier, because he just basically just sitting down there. You're not walking like like the senior
There's also the
deacon.
refreshments.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah, well, that's the toughest part of the being a junior warden. You got to be in charge of the refreshment, the food and refreshment in the lodge meeting. Everything that happens in the lodge, you're in charge of that. So
In special events.
that
too,
that's
right?
that was my main focus on too. When I was a junior warden.
The hospitality.
Yeah. Setting up buying the drinks, make sure we have plates, we have
Yeah.
kulas, and making sure there's no alcohol left in the fridge. I've learned that mistake on my first month. I didn't know that. So,
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
oh yeah, I guess there's
that a rule
a
of
couple
the-
of beers left in the fridge. So I got a message from someone, I don't even remember who, but yeah, I guess we're not supposed to leave.
Oh, it's the
Alcohol.
temple rule.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
because you can't leave
Okay.
alcohol at it. Yeah,
Makes
Masonic,
sense, yeah. Awesome. All right. And also, we wanted to, tell us about like a real world experience that help you shape your leadership skills, and just tell us something about a past experience that put you in a position where I have to step up, and I can't rely on anyone else, but I have to be the lead, kind of like that. Yeah.
I guess being a leader, it's something that you start doing, and then you get better at it as you go.
Sure.
So when I think about that question, I have to look back, and when did I become? When did I start leading? And I think it started maybe in college. I directed a play in our class, and I didn't really do much, but I was they elected me president of the class, one of the class in college, and joining the military. Like I said, as you go higher in rank, you take more responsibilities, and you have to lead as an example to your lower ranking uh, personnel. Um,
And,
Graduating from going through the correctional academy.
Hmm.
What I learned from that, I think, is when you see something not going right, don't just stand there. You gotta speak up. If you
Yeah.
have to raise your voice, you have to do that. That's something I learned from the correctional academy. Um, and masonry, I learned from a lot of past masters, like just observing, uh, being assigned Worship Ed during his term. He assigned me a lot of things, and I think that that helps in the whole uh,
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, and I think
experience.
it's you can't really read the dictionary meaning of a leadership until you've been through it. I
Yeah,
don't know
for sure.
if I have that 100% experience, but just like you mentioned, I believe it's like something that you just have to do, and next thing you know, like these people are relying on me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm an example, like kind of like you said to your lower personnel, right? Next thing you know, like you're helping them and teaching them the ropes, right? And how to do kind of like their duties, at least in the military, when you mentioned that. Yeah. And I know the fraternity is a great place to find a lot of
Definitely.
look up to, like as
Yeah.
far as like
There's a lot of-
leadership skills,
yeah.
and it's like wow, different variety. You
There's
know,
some
like
all stars in this
yeah.
fraternity. I'm so like I'm never
just like brother Gabe right here. Yeah.
so like like I was saying earlier, I was like, dude, every time I go somewhere, every time I meet people, I'm always so like, oh my god, like we all meet on the level and we're all Masons, we're all brothers. But when you really start building relationships with some of these guys, and you're like, the majority of our membership are high caliber, just great people who I know when I go into these meetings or events, that like I go in there with the open mind. That's like I want to learn. Like I want to get to know who these people are, because as a former military guy myself and as a leader, it was one of those things like my kind of approach was, I know what the bad leadership looks like. I know what excellent leadership looks like. I know who I am, and I know how to like gauge myself that way. And so I'm also curious about kind of your experiences, because in your history, and I don't want to overlook the Department of Corrections by any means. I'm super curious about that. I'm curious to hear about your experiences in Afghanistan. Were you? Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, I was well in the reserve back in 2010. Yeah, I was deployed in Afghanistan. I work in the emergency room in a building in a hospital made by the British. We were in the British side of the base.
Mm.
So there's British side. There's different sides like U.S. sides, but we were under the British. What can I say?
Command.
Command.
Yeah.
So, and I work in the ER, and that was something that on the, I don't know how to. It's
No,
really
no.
hard to describe that.
And in 2010.
Yes, and
Yes, and that was
we
when
work in ER, and that was back in the day when IEDs were
It
blowing
was hot.
up.
Yeah. I was. I've never been to Afghanistan. I was deployed like during the initial invasion to Iraq, and spent some time in Africa. And but it's interesting how much like being in those, like you see the absolute worst in humans, and you see what we're capable of doing in a negative way, and that's why I'm a huge proponent of kind of veterans and masonry connecting and combining, because when you're in those situations, like you have, like when you call somebody a brother, like you know what it means. Like you need socks, I got you. You need toothbrush, I got you. You need a shirt, I got you. Like I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I would not do myself. I'm not going to go to that. I'm not going to ask you to go to that door. You're an 18-year-old kid. You have water behind your ears. I'm not going to do that. You know, and so being a Mason kind of like puts all that. I don't want to say it puts it all of it together, but it certainly it dignifies. It's like, okay, well now you've been through the trial by fire. I'm a huge proponent of trial by fire. I'm like, you know what? If you're the guy and you say you're the guy, and then let's go. Let's execute. But Masonry really gives you a sense of elegance to how to lead, right? Because you really get to know who you are through our philosophical and allegorical lessons. So
Yeah, and one thing I think Masonry helps develop as a leader is just talking in front of people, just 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 standing up
yeah,
and talk, and that's one. I think that's one of the things that Masonry. Uh,
I think one of the benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Because
that.
I think it's a safe space,
Sure.
standing in front of a lot of people that some members or visitors that you may not know personally,
yeah,
but they're there to support you. And I remember in college comparing the public speaking or presentations experience, it's a lot different because in outside of the fraternity, at least in my opinion, is that people are a little bit harsh,
Sure.
and,
Yeah.
not just criticism, or no one's perfect. I mean, everybody has something to improve, right?
Yeah.
But the environment, as far as like competition, like, oh, my presentation is better than yours,
Mhm.
or hopefully I,
Yeah.
better, have a better grade.
It's self-serving out there for
Right,
sure.
yeah.
And Masonry really, like, when we talk about meeting on the level, it's like, yeah, we're brothers. Like, it's that same concept and mindset as I'm sure that the situations you've been in as a correction officer, like you had to depend on people, in the same uniform to have your back.
yeah, I agree with you. As our goal is to be better selves, not about competition.
Mhm.
Who's this? Who's better than?
Yeah.
I think it's just better ourselves to be better than we were yesterday. I think
Right. Yep.
Yep.
I
that's
agree.
what.
Yep.
It's not about who are we better than somebody else.
In
there.
between cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers. Got you.
Keep going, brother.
But we were talking about in the corrections. I think it will. That's where it's got a working corrections as a correctional officer. It's a big challenge for a leader because you're gonna ask if you're gonna talk to the inmates and lead them to we gotta be there, and these are guys that don't follow the rules.
Yeah. So before we get too deep into that, so tell us how you went from Navy to correction officer.
Yeah. So I was in the reserve, right? So after USS Incheon, 3.5 years, and then another 3 years in the Navy Reserve here, and my contract is out. So I have a what do you call that? Orders to go to for my next duty station was in Lathrop. There's a Marine Corps Reserve Center there in Lathrop.
Oh, that's right.
And I didn't want to.
You're like,
I didn't want to transfer, and I don't want to live the military life where you transfer every 2 years. And
yeah.
I didn't.
It's
I
hard.
didn't want to put May through that because I know she's really close to her family. I didn't want to take her out
For sure.
Yeah. So I just got out. I didn't know what to do. I worked a couple in between jobs, and then I got my license. I challenged the LVN board, the vocational nursing board, and I passed that. And I applied to be a medical technical assistant in the Department of Corrections. It's basically a medic. You're working medical, but you have a badge, you're a peace officer.
Hmm.
But mainly you do medical stuff, like
Sure.
responding to emergencies.
Mm-hmm.
So I, uh, I was that. But then there's something. There was a problem with the medical system in the corrections, and the federal judge took over, and he didn't like that job classification correction
Medical assistant.
medical, and then you're a peace officer. So he's like, in his mind, maybe that there was there's a contradiction to that. So
Yeah, yeah.
they gave us choice either become a peace, just a correctional officer, or LVN, a regular LVN, and there's just more money being a correctional
Sure.
officer.
Yeah. Well, good for you. Smart choice.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
my kids were young.
Yeah.
I
The
I
kids are
gotta think
expensive.
about financial.
Yeah.
So I stayed. I became a correctional officer, and
So you go from Galt because that's where the training is, correct?
actually, while this was happening, I was mobilized in Balboa Navy Hospital
And where is that? I didn't get a chance to look into that.
in San Diego.
Okay, okay.
It was in San Diego. I was there for a year working in the vascular department.
Nice.
But
And
I was just,
shout out to the San Diego bros. That there's some strong Masons down there in San Diego.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's some good dudes out there.
A lot of them. There's a lot of lodges, Filipino lodges.
Yeah, yeah.
We're like the only one here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
But over there's like a lot of them.
Yeah.
But I met a lot of brothers there. So I got called from being working in prison. I work in San Diego hospital for a year. I was driving back and forth every 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
And then when the gas went up, I find flying easier.
Oh wow.
So, but every 2 weeks I go home, and while this was going on, the judge was getting rid of the medical technical MTA classification.
Yeah.
So when I got back from that mobilization, there was no more of that. So I went to the correctional academy.
I see.
But there was a conversion for us because we were already working in the prison long enough. They said, "Oh, you only need to do this. So
Ah.
it's only a month instead of 3 months." Correctional
Nice.
academy
Which facility did you work in?
in the Sacramento State Prison, which is side by side with the Folsom State Prison.
Got
The
it.
Folsom one is the more legendary one.
The super, like, is it
yeah.
Supermax or something like that?
Yeah. No. They're actually lower level.
Oh, okay.
I shouldn't be saying it. Yeah, they're lower level, but they're the older, because they're the older prison.
Yeah,
They're
it's
like
like a San Quentin.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
one
think
of
San
those.
Quentin is the oldest.
Ah.
I think Folsom's the second oldest.
Nice.
Yes.
I said nice, like okay. Historically, it's okay.
But our prison is the maximum level prison, and theirs is lower level. Let's have a drink.
Is that the facility that where they have the
Cheers.
The who?
I don't know what it's called, maximum, somebody can be in a confinement. Is that one of those places?
Oh yeah.
I have no idea.
I think every prison has that.
Oh, they do.
I used to
Okay,
watch.
gotcha.
I used to watch Lockdown on MSNBC.
Segregated inmates. They're segregated for one reason or another. Sometimes it's for themselves and to protect themselves.
Yeah. So were there other Masons that you met? Actually, so this was 2010, right? So and you didn't come into Masonry until what? Actually, yeah.
2013 is
13.
when I joined. So where was so after Balboa, I went back. I went to the academy, and then before I got mobilized, I got promoted to E6,
Which is
which is a first class petty officer
nice.
with another but to make it short, HM1. There was another HM1 in my unit. We didn't have a chief in our unit back then, and he got into motorcycle accident. He was riding a motorcycle and he got run over, so he died.
Oh wow.
So he was kind of he was the one being groomed to be the next chief because he was the squared away guy. He was really really smart guy, and there was two of us that got promoted. So it became me who became, when I got back from Balboa, I was the senior enlisted leader.
Wow.
Because we didn't have a chief, but we had about 26 enlisted. So
Wow. And did you get out as a first HM1?
yes,
Nice.
10 years.
Yeah, I served I think 12 years, and I made so the equivalent to chief on. I don't know how I did it that fast. Usually, like it's like for an infantryman in the army, like it's like 8 to 10 years, and like I made it at 7, and I was like, I like first look, and I don't know how I did that, but yeah. So, but then I was kind of done with it. I was like, I'm gonna leave the door kicking to the brave and the bold.
Yeah, I started promising. I made E5 in about 3 years.
Oh, dang, that's fast. That's fast tracking.
But I don't know what happened. Like,
Wow.
Nice. Awesome. So, Barjun, so we know we all have our own character traits, right? And the next question is about, with with your character, what do you think you will be bringing into the lodge as the worshipful master? Like everybody has a different flavor of personality.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think that something that you're going to bring to the lodge next year as you, like your personality?
well, you see me. I'm always easygoing. So I hope that next year we will just have a lot of fun in the lodge. And
I
I'm
like that
always
idea. Fun.
Right.
And I'm open to a lot of new ideas. So I'm open to a lot of suggestions. Anything that our brothers think will improve our lodge, I'm open to that. So hopefully, there's actually a few already. Like it's not really new things, but some things that we something different maybe this year is
Any hints?
well. It's not really new, but
Hawaii?
it's been done before. But shooting, we haven't done that in a long time.
Oh, that'll be cool. Very cool.
I'm thinking about doing like a talent show where we will showcase the talents of our GDML family members, and we'll have a tickets.
I think that's a great idea.
And which will hopefully which will benefit a charity.
Oh, okay.
But
Nice.
something in my mind,
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like that,
Nice.
Keep that going. Yeah, I like that.
And to expand on that, like, so what are some of your goals for GDML in 2024?
My goal is really simple. It's to leave the lodge, hopefully a lot better than when I start.
Sure.
There's a lot of we have a lot of issues going on right now. The bank problem.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're definitely. I always consider it, especially like during this time where it's like right between the outgoing masters after his last data meeting and before your installation. There's always like this weird like energy and vibe that comes with the lodge, right? Because like everybody's like, what's going to happen next year?
who's supposed to lead
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah, and so I empathize with you. I understand what you're going through. I don't envy you, especially with the lodge. It's very engaged, and everybody has some amazing opinions, even though you may or may not ask for them often, right? Like or all the time. and so I'm curious. I'm curious what have you done kind of in the interim, like right now? Like, what are you doing to kind of like roll your year out? Like, have you, like, what have you done? Like, how are you kind of engaging all your officers?
The officers, I'm still looking for I think I want to talk. We're gonna have a meeting maybe right before or after our installation practice, and discuss what each other's responsibility. What's expected of you to do,
Yeah,
and so that they will know. Everybody will know. And
that's good. It's always good to start off with reinforcing kind of what our job descriptions and duties are, and really giving, in my opinion, while having those conversations is giving people the, like, this is what the expectations are of you, just from our operating procedures from Grand Lodge, right? This is, if you're the secretary, you're supposed to do XYZ. If you're the junior warden, you're supposed to do XYZ, right? And so this is standard. I am a traditionalist. I love the, and I guess I don't want to digress too far off the conversation or the topic, but yeah, tell us, like, so you're talking to so you're gonna do that, which is great. We're also, side note, in selfish plug, that we're gonna be doing the very same thing at these leadership retreats coming up. It's like the Grand Lodge is gonna kind of put together, like, well, here's what you do as a master. Here's what you do as a senior warden, junior warden. Here's what you do as a past master, right? Like, here are the expectations, so that everybody understands what makes kind of the big green machine continue to go, right? So it's great you're going to do that. I commend that.
yeah, and my plan too is copying. I think copying from Worshipful Ed, our Hiram awardee for this
Yeah,
year.
it's going to be a fun party.
Worship Eduardo Caballero.
Yeah. Cheers.
When during his tenure
Cheers to Ed
as
Caballero.
master, he
shit.
he assigned pretty much every officer to lead something like an event or activity, so that it will harness the leadership in the officers. And that's something that I want to do too, because that I think I believe that really helps put a bigger perspective too on the what it takes to get things done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you gotta contact people.
And you find out that projects are more successful when you assigned duties in projects to members, because now at that point, like, they have their skin in the game, right? And so smart. And then obviously it sounds like you know exactly who to put where, and what kind of, I don't want to say committees, but what assignments to, whatever your goals are, to put the right people in the place to help you be successful.
Well, for me, I believe in volunteerism.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is give a chance to them to volunteer for what they want to do, and if not, it's like in the military, you can be voluntold.
Yeah, voluntold. I haven't heard that in like 20 years, bro. Thank you. I like that. Yeah. So okay. So excellent.
Yeah, I did remember Worshipful Ed, Brother Ed's term. He had a lot of committees,
Yeah.
putting brethren members in a specific project that they can grow and probably write for that position.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's kind of like it's a win-win situation, because you're kind of, once you delegate, like, you just have to worry about the follow through. But then, like, so everybody's doing the legwork, and this lodge has this beautiful kind of characteristic that, like, many hands make light work, right? And so it's beyond, like, beautiful to where somebody needs something, and it's fun. I don't want to say it's funny. We had a brother recently, right? Like family passed away. He was like, I gotta fly the pond and go to the Philippines to be with family. And before the weekend was over, there was like $2,000 in the account. Like, that's just what we do. And so it's beautiful like that.
Yeah.
And that's a legacy that you're stepping into, like to carry forward, right? Like, this is a strong lodge. Just like we were saying earlier, you're like, we have district inspectors out there. We have guys who could be noticed and good for any kind of committees, opportunities everywhere.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
It's humbling. Sometimes it makes me
Also,
question why why I'm even in this position right now. But
also, brother, we want to hear your beautiful voice. If you can have it, like,
oh
probably.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, you can. I can pull the mic with you. I think so. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like as I said, when you look around our lodge, just in our lodge, we have the Masonic officers, the Grand Lodge officer. We have inspectors, which is also Grand Lodge officers.
Mm-hmm.
We have
high caliber past masters.
we
like
have
some
a director
ballers,
of
dude.
BA down there in Preston.
Oh
in
yeah,
our
yeah,
lodge.
brother Doc, yeah.
Yeah, we have really a lot of
Yeah.
high caliber person. And like
Yeah.
I said, it's really humbling to be in position to be leading our lodge,
Mm-hmm.
and to have that kind of support.
Yeah.
Is like I think it makes it easy though to
For
have
sure.
that kind of support.
For sure, yeah. Because at any point you could say, "Here's what I want to do," and if your confidence level is as strong as those past masters are, and you're saying, "Where's she? Where's she? You? I need you to manage this X, Y, and Z." I guarantee they're not going to drop that ball. I
Yes.
guarantee you're going to be successful. You just gotta put get right the trestle board.
Yeah, and I really, and I know the brothers will be there to support us.
Yeah.
In all our doing. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Next topic.
Yeah. So go ahead. Were you on the next one?
Was it you or?
I don't. We just kind of keep flowing.
Oh, you got the budget? Is that part of the?
Well, I was going to jump
Yeah.
to like the next personal
for it,
interest.
yeah.
So
I
yeah,
know.
I'm curious. So now that we've kind of talked about the operational side of Masonry and like the business aspect, and I'm curious to know what your interests are esoterically. Like, what are you studying outside of the Blue Book?
I'm actually still studying the Blue Book. Like I said.
Yeah, we all are. We all.
When I give my proficiency, like I said, like before we started, I told you I was struggling with the prayer, so I wanna. Although I passed the proficiency, I wanna be more proficient
Sure.
with that. And when I did my proficiency, I only did the short form of it, so I wanna continue and start with the long form process, the long form part of it.
Mm-hmm. As a Master Mason proficiency?
No, the lecture, lecture for it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. And for those who don't know, so as any of the, as you, ascend to higher levels of responsibility, as a Mason, there are certain plays and stories that you have to know verbatim to deliver the messages that we have as Masons, and that's a lot of work. When you're talking about, like, for instance, the qualification to be the Worshipful Master, like, you're talking about I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours of straight memorization, right? And like, so imagine how long that's going to take you to memorize that. So it's years in the making. So going back to the question when I asked, like, were you thinking about this as senior deacon when you first started, doing the qualifications, knowing that like it's only more from here? And that's what's beautiful about our fraternity, because it's like the higher you go, it's really, it's like it's a labor of service, right? But it's understanding, like, but it's a lot of work. Yeah.
Very true. Yes, just the memorization alone takes a lot of hours and hours. But and I agree, it's not just, oh, I'm gonna do this 1 year. It's a process that takes years, because even when I'm sure when you guys started, when just one line, it's probably like took us forever
Yeah,
to memorize. But and like everything else, the more you practice doing something,
Yeah.
you get better at it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that kind of helped me. I learned something in Freemasonry that I kind of was able to apply in all of my hobbies and other things. That you do things in the beginning and you're not gonna be good at it, and you're gonna fail. But you just continue doing it.
Yeah.
And you just see that you're getting better at
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, time, patience, and perseverance,
Yes,
right?
true. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so going back to so you're still studying, that our which is commendable. I think that we should strive not just for ritual proficiency, but we should strive for ritual excellence.
I did. Sorry to interrupt.
No, for sure.
I did pick up a book, bro. I was driving in Franklin Boulevard and I saw Goodwill. And I just stopped here.
Okay.
I was digging through a lot of stuff with all the other people in there. Like, I was holding the Constitution. I saw an old thing, and somebody was grabbing it from my hand. Like,
What?
Okay, but something that I pick up and I started reading. It's like an Alcohol Anonymous book, and it was. I only got to the second pages, but on the first page, like, one thing it says is like, we don't have authority to any other life but ours, and that's really profound. Yeah, because it's like, yeah, we only have our life to manage, and we can only tell other person to, but we really don't have the authority to, because it's their life.
Sure.
They have the authority to live their own lives, and we can only help them. So help them how to, where to go, but overall, it's really up to them.
Yeah.
It should be up to them to what they do with their life.
For sure, and that's why that's, especially as the master, like, to be the pinnacle, right, and to be the example of like what, because we essentially we're trying to live such an exemplary life, right? And so going back to the secrets of Masonry, it's like, it's really just becoming a better person, and how you can break off every single, like, all the bad stuff about you. Like, if you were to kind of put yourself into the allegory of a brick in the temple of God's work, like, you have to make sure that every single edge is straight, right? And like, and especially as a master, everybody's looking at you. You're the leader of that lodge, and so it's a lot more emotional commitment than I think people understand. But something that many of the brothers in lodge do understand. And so that's why it does get emotional. That's why it does get heated when we have conversations. That's why we're brothers, like, we duke it out a little bit. Like, we iron things out, and we move forward, and it makes us better. right? Like we get to like become better just with our engagements and acts with each other on a daily basis. Freemasonry
Totally.
is a real time MBA program, right? And it's one of those where you understand how to manage a business, how to manage emotions, and then you're doing it in an all volunteer organization who people pay to be a part of this.
I
That
know,
adds to the
right?
challenge. So
Right.
It's really
Totally
neat.
agree. Somebody, their, our members are paying. We're paying
yeah,
to be
yeah, right.
to serve.
Yes,
Yes.
but I mean it's going towards a good cause.
Yes, because this is what we want.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, since we just talked about the esotericism, and I'm leading up to that question, just because as we were talking about earlier, being a part of the Grand Lodge's Masonic Education Committee, and really having a special place for education in my heart for Masonic education. And we'll get to that here in a bit as far as like what your plans are with that. But going back to the operational side of that, how, like, when we go to the Grand Lodge leadership retreats that are coming up, what are your, like, what are your goals for those type of events? For instance, the Masters and Wardens.
I believe that the retreats are all the wardens, even the senior deacons. They said they allow them. They
Yes.
should go through that
And
because
we're going to encourage it this year too.
yeah, it's a really it's big help for the for all the executive members of the lodges, the three lights, wardens, and the masters, because it kind of gives you like a blueprint on how to run the lodge.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, because you also get to bounce ideas off of each other and like, hey, what are you guys doing in San Ramon?
the
What do you
best
guys?
practices.
Yeah,
You
right.
get to learn the best practices from
Yeah.
other lodges,
Mhm.
and if you have problems, you can confide. And oh yeah, we had, because our fraternity is very old. The problems that we were having, I'm sure somebody already had that
Right.
kind of problem somewhere,
Yeah.
and we just need to find that answer.
Well, and so go. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But as far as the one thing that really why I wanted to kind of touch bases on this leaders retreat, some of the people that are watching this podcast today are in lodges great lodges, tons of history. Some of them are kind of stagnant, and I think one piece of the foundation of masonry that's missing out there is the inclusion of our ladies. And that's one thing that General Douglas MacArthur does do. When you go to a stadium meeting, all the ladies go. The family goes. The kids are running around. They're growing up together. They're in DMLA together. And I hope, and I want you to take every single bit of social media that we have and spread it around, because I think what we have is very special, and I think we have the formula to a successful lodge. And that's because of the ladies in it. And so when you do go to these things, I hope that that you guys proudly talk about how we do it at GDML.
Yeah, I agree that the ladies is a big part of our success in our lodge, and I hope that we continue to have them in our lodge and to help us.
Mm-hmm.
And but at the same token, I want to see brothers working too, not just because sometimes I see the things working, and also the our new sometimes it's the things and
Prospects.
the prospects.
Yeah.
But there was a time when I saw that everybody was working, and I want that to to continue to.
Well, good for you. I like that. That's a nice goal to have. To be like, hey guys, let's get back to our roots here.
Yeah,
Dude,
because
bro, I was the other day. I don't remember. I was at an installation. I was having dinner, and like after it, like I got up. The people who I was sitting next, they were done too. Like I just started picking up plates, and they were almost like, please, no. And I'm like, I got you. Like I got you.
yeah,
But we need
because
and we need to be like that. We need to, you know. So I know what you're saying.
yeah, I I want that things. I want our ladies to be there, but I don't want I want them to be as a visitor, not them working.
Sure.
I want our brothers to be the one working. I I, I would rather see our brothers working and have them as our visitors because it's our lodge. We are the ones on Mason. They're not. They're not the ones that joined Masonry.
True.
We are the ones. We're the ones who want to be better, and if they're the ones working, and we're just sitting around, who's getting better?
Right. Wow. Yeah. You know what's interesting is I'm curious why it hasn't started just yet, but I wouldn't doubt if at some point within the next 5 years that the ladies like either open up an OES chapter, or if and I don't even want to get too who knows, but I'm just saying like Freemasonry in California in particular is getting very inclusive, right? And it's I don't necessarily know if I don't disagree, and I think that ladies are very special. It should be a part of what we do, but
And it's not funny because we always say funny that you say that, but it's not really funny. But even a thing, because she went with me to a retreat before where a master from a female Masonic lodge presented something, and
Maria something or other.
yes, and
Yeah.
she was curious too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Freemasonry is not only for men.
Yeah.
I think it's for everyone. For that, for everyone who strives to make themselves better. I think that's what Freemasonry is all about.
And you know another thing that's beautiful about Freemasonry is that we can eloquently and gracefully or respectfully talk about other religions, and purely from a noble standpoint, I guess you could say. So as I look at what's the religion that's out there in Utah, the Mormons. I have cousins who are Mormons. Matter of fact, I know a brother in a different lodge in Sacramento, not downtown Sacramento, but in Sacramento, Mormon. And he called me one day. We had a long conversation on a Saturday morning, and he was like telling me about, Joseph Smith and kind of all that, and like a lot of the Masonic kind of similarities within that, and that Freemasonry used to be like the cream, like it used to be like the most influential organization, right? And now we're going to get back there for sure, but a lot of that kind of went to those religions, particularly to a Mormon religion, and he made this case to the reason why is because like, well, there's also a female section into it. Like they go through similar degrees from what I understand, right? Like not necessarily in the same group, but it's very similar. So, and I'm like, and he's like, now it's a multi-billion-dollar, and he didn't. That was the first time where I thought like, oh my God, like he doesn't sound crazy, So, anyways, I think we have a very beautiful kind of, at least a seasoning or the formula for the growth of Masonry here. So, I'd be curious to hear what the ladies say.
I'm sure if there's if we have a female version there, it'll be run by the GDML
Yeah, right.
uh,
By the
lady.
Yeah. Yeah. Now there's some amazing women in here, and I always feel super like nervous around the ladies because like I hold them at such like high, like the ladies of GDML, like in my opinion, are the bosses.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah. So
So changing gear,
yeah.
we have our next question. Do you have a mentor, brother June? And if tell us about how that started and what your relationship looks like with your mentor, if you have one now. Yeah.
Well, in my journey in masonry, I've had numerous mentors from when I first started. Um, I would say from when I first joined, the first one would be Worsi Cirillo. He was the one that gave me the God bless his soul. He was the one who gave me the application and told me which ones to focus on first. Uh, Same with. It's hard to name names because
Sure. Yeah. Because you don't want to leave anybody out, and like everybody
Yeah.
has like yeah,
But we have this few that will stand out. Worship Elmer, he was helping me in my beginnings in Freemasonry. Um, Worship Albert was the one who appointed me. Worship Ed, uh, like I said during his term, I think all the officers under his term was lucky because they were given an opportunity to lead an activity, and learn. As you know, like I said, leadership is like everything else. It's an ongoing process. You practice and you do things, and you learn from mistakes. You learn how to do things better, and um, leading an activity makes you a better leader.
sure.
You know?
Yeah.
That there's just a lot.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the past master has all the past masters has at one point or another they have given me an advice on what how to do things. So
Mm-hmm.
I always and I know if, but if and I know if I have questions, there's a lot of them
Yeah.
to ask. Worship Nolan from the beginning, I know he saw leadership in me. He was the first one who actually he tried to appoint me to be a chaplain, to be an officer of the lodge. But like I said in the beginning, I didn't really have I didn't think I had the time for it because of my schedule. But even before we were pre-Mason, I knew Worship Nolan and Worship Randy. They were friends before Freemasonry. So they were the ones that, man, I would hate to forget someone.
For sure.
I don't want
For
to.
sure.
But like I said, a lot of them, the past masters.
Yeah. Well, you've definitely. This is the one of those lodges where like you turn around and you're running into somebody who's very influential and has a lot of great things to contribute. So let me ask you as we're jumping down kind of towards the end of this. So tell us what you believe in your heart GDML wants as a lodge. Yeah, we'll start there first. It's a two-part question.
Right now, I think every lodge, a degree for some degree or more, they have this want to have harmony because it is like we always says, like I always as a senior warden, I have to always say this.
Yeah.
It's the strength and support of all sides, and that makes keeps everything easier when everything is in harmony, united in one goal to do one thing. And I think that's what everyone wants in a lodge right now. And
So sorry, I didn't mean.
and also a free parking space.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we're downtown Sacramento, and it's hard to park there, but it's interesting because the other day I took a video walking into stadium meeting, and because everybody kind of has Teslas in GDML, so I was filming it, and there's literally like 8 Teslas in a row, and I'm like, oh, GDML stadium meeting tonight, so. But so now thank you for sharing what you think GDML wants as a lodge. I don't think you're too far off. I think harmony is what every lodge strives for, and it's probably the hardest thing to capture because of the different personalities and the different leadership styles and
Diversity.
And the diversity. Yeah. And I think that's where Masonic education comes in for us to really be like, what are we doing? Like, let's learn how to be Masons so that.
Totally agree, brother. Horsey.
Right. So. Yeah.
Brother June, if there were 3 things that you could improve or maybe get rid of in the lodge, what would they be and why?
I think I'll just start with the attendance. Not that we have problems with attendance, but it's something that it's always good to improve on,
Sure.
right? The more, the merrier. And I know that there's a lot of room for improvements right there. We can probably call, what do you call our members who hasn't been around and give more invitations, but that's one of the thing that I want to improve on. Like I said, we don't have problem. I've seen other lodges that have a lot of problem.
Yeah, that's
we
exactly.
don't have that problem, but that's something that is always good. I would say that always good to improve on.
Yeah.
The other one, the second one would be, if there's something I want to fix right now, is something pressing right now for me. I would think it's like the bank fraud problem that we're having right now.
Oh
And
yeah.
so that's a problem. So we'll try to fix that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
hopefully we'll be able to in the most, I don't know how to say. I just hope that we will get our money back.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a hope, yeah.
Yeah, that would be the best
Best case scenario.
possibility
Yeah.
scenario.
Scenario.
The best possible scenario is that we get our money back, but
And switch bank.
Yeah.
yeah, switch
Yeah.
back. Well, just if our bank, if the bank that we have right now can protect our money, they expect us to protect our money. We give them our money.
Yeah.
Shout out to Wells Fargo. I think your system is flawed.
So, yeah.
And third one, 3 things. I knew I should have written this. And
So I just want to, while you're thinking about that, just to caveat on the first world problems that you said for the first one, he goes, we need to improve on our attendance. And like, I've been to lodges where there's like me on the sideline, and then you go to GDML lodge and like, we consider it a low attendance if there's like less than 10, 15 guys on the side.
Yeah.
Such first world problems.
Yeah.
So.
I'm still thinking about the third one. I know I wrote it somewhere. I thought about it.
I'm sure you'll be adaptable and flexible once you're officially installed, and
Yep.
if there's anything that you have support to change anything, and
Yep.
and I want you to remember that like you do have a lot of support, but ultimately, at the end of the day, you are the master, and it is at your will and pleasure.
Yes.
And don't forget that, man. Like, and you have that benefit because the lodge has, said, yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy, and that's what they want. People need direction.
And if I'm gonna think of a third to improve on, I'll go back to harmony, because for me that would be like like the number one we always have to strive on to improve, because even though you may be in there might be a great harmony, that's something that you always have to focus on, because it was kind of like I always say it every meeting. It's the strength and support of all societies, and especially ours. So if I focus on that, that will keep our lodge stronger, and we'll get all the support that we need. If everybody works in one direction, united in one or more goals, good goals, then I think
It's good
we
to
have
yeah.
achieved that.
Yeah.
It's good to have objectives, and that's
Yeah.
that's a good focus there. And
But just like with harmony, like
Yeah.
like with any relationship, right? Like especially with us being married, like relationships take work.
oh yeah,
It takes a work. Oh my God. And so the same thing with masonry. Like you still have to cultivate those relationships. Like I felt like bad. Like we haven't talked in, I don't know, a month. You know what I mean? Like I've missed a couple of meetings and
You have to make time.
yeah,
you have to make
have
time.
That's
and
why this week I was so happy when I was like, let's hang out, let's do a podcast, because sometimes you just have to carpe diem and just like do it. Yeah, and so thank you for
yeah, definitely
being
So I
flexible.
jumped
I
right
just
into
gotta
it,
say, I was very nervous coming here tonight
Oh,
and doing
no.
this, but this is actually fun. It was fun.
Yeah,
Thank you.
for sure. Yeah,
And actually, the next question is kind of related to your first or part of your answer as far as like how to get people become more active, right? So if there's any strategy that you have to kind of reintroduce inactive brothers, you mentioned calling and saying hi, right?
Yeah.
Or,
Inviting them maybe personally, calling them
yeah.
personally, and I hope that we are gonna be able also to do this ceremony called the Rusty Trowel.
Ah, nice.
I've never really seen it done before.
I haven't
know
seen
if
it, but
you've seen
I've
that.
read through, because it's the ceremony is on iMembers, and I've read through it a couple times. It's pretty cool. Like there's, I don't necessarily know if anybody could do it. Like
Inviting
memorization.
the brethren who hasn't been in a fraternity in a long time. Maybe they have maybe they're too maybe they're embarrassed that they don't even remember how to make the sign,
Right.
or, and we invite them, and
It's like a
basically
walkabout.
it's like a re-teach them
Mhm.
the things
is-
that they may have
First time
forgotten.
I've heard of this ceremony. So how does it work? Like, do we need like a few of them, or just one is enough, or like?
You could do it
Yes.
for whenever, and
Yeah.
it's a ceremony that you could do at any time. That'd be another thing that you could do as an education program, to be like, hey, for tonight's education, like we're doing a lodge walkabout, and like, and I get it. Like GDML really prides itself on the ritual verbatim, without without the book or anything like that, right? Obviously, we don't do book in open meetings, but we really hold ritual high, and so to go around people saying, well, it's going to take us forever to learn this, you could just be like, we're calling this an education. We're going to do it. Here's our scripts. You know what I mean? Like, here, let's just do it.
And it doesn't need to be like the full blown everything. It's
Yeah.
simple.
Everybody in their positions, and you read your lines.
yeah, and I think even just having someone hold the rod, it's like that would be like a big inspiration for somebody to, wow, like i I have this thing to call everybody to just have a practice of how to hold the rods, because some of our members, they never been officers, they never had a chance to hold the rod
Yeah.
or even the baton, do officer things. And
Hmm.
I think if they just have a few experience
Yeah.
doing it, it might inspire them to
To want to do some more.
yeah, to work,
Yeah.
to work more.
Yeah, I agree, and I encourage that. I definitely encourage that. So, because we have what 130 something members in GDML,
Yes, about that.
110.
110.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
seen that the most was 111, and I think we have a couple of like demits. or
Sure,
something
yeah.
like that,
So even so, statistically, if we have like 25, so that's because most lodges out there are operating at like 10 to 13%, like total staff or total membership, and for us to be at like 20% is awesome.
Yeah,
And you-
we're about
Probably
that.
higher, like
About
probably
30,
30%.
It might be 30.
Yeah, 30.
that's unheard of.
Yeah, because the average attendance for like stated meetings is like 30,
Yeah,
like up
Yeah.
or down.
that's 30 for everybody who's listening.
And
Yeah.
we actually used to get more visitors from other lodges.
Well, we're gonna, because that's why I was like, hey, what do you got going on for the Masters of Warden treats? Because I think we need to have as many people come through. We need to be opened, in my opinion, and I'm more than happy to help facilitate this. Like, to bring people to see who we are, to introduce people to our interpretation of Masonry, because I've been to, personally, like, I've been to many lodges. Like, I was raised out east. I traveled, like, throughout the entire kind of United States. I've been in different lodges. I've seen different cultures, and I'm like, this is the lodge. This is kind of everything that I'm like, as much as I love this lodge, it's missing this. As much as this lodge is super cool, it's missing this. And finally, I'm at a lodge where I'm like, oh man, like, how do I fit into this lodge? This lodge has, yeah. If you want, yeah, well, I'll invite everybody in the Rolodex.
Yeah, and I know a lot of brothers that they're always there, and I know not everyone has a time and work schedule,
Yeah.
family, and I know it's hard, but it's something that we already expected when we joined the masonry, that we're gonna be doing this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and that needs to be, in my opinion, like, when anybody knocks on the door, we answer the door, and it's probably one of the first things that we have to articulate to these people is this is a working lodge, it's an operating lodge. When we talk about like participating in commitment, this is like you're either in or you're not. Business is business. I hate to say, but like, because like when you talk about brothers, like, I want to make sure that like the person who's coming in is just as trustworthy as you guys are. Like, I want somebody, like, if one of the brothers were like, hey, where's she, Gabe? Can you and Aaron, can you watch my kids this weekend? Of course, because you know me, you know where I'm at, you know where I live. We're all transparent. So I think that we have to really kind of hold ourselves to higher standards when people do knock. Make sure we have the right people coming in. So you've got a lot of responsibility on your plate coming up.
yes.
Jeez. I'm like, ooh, man. So, but you're gonna crush it. So
God willing.
yeah. So lastly, for mine, as a proponent of veteran involvement in Masonry, what message would you like to convey to fellow veterans who are out there, who are listening to this, who are not in the fraternity?
To my brother in military service, you have served your country, and you have a chance to serve your community. Masonry is about service, service to your fellow man, service to your community, service to to
You're right.
to your family,
Mankind.
mankind.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I was like, why do you stop?
Yeah, and I know as a military, we're all about service, and when you get out, you're probably missing that. You find it in masonry.
Yeah. It's definitely speaking from experience, coming, because I was a Mason in the service, and the transition from out of service into civilian life, in my opinion, was only made possible, or was made easier, because I had the support of Masons. That's just what we do for each other. And then like it's from putting on one uniform to another, right? And this uniform happens to be our aprons.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
It's even better because you're not forced to. Oh, well, it's on your. Well, everybody volunteered, but it's just. It's not as hard as a military life.
yeah, yeah, for sure. There's not.
It's
5
more
mile
fun
rides.
serving in the fraternity.
Yeah, for sure. So
Yep, and every podcast guest we ask this question, and obviously we have different characters and guests and brother, that comes on. So, do you think that Freemasonry is still relevant today? And if you do, like I know we have AIs, computer technology now, chat GPT.
he turned me on. He turned me on in
Yeah.
ChatGPT. I don't even think he knows this. 6 or 8
Yeah.
months ago, and I'm like, what is this? I went home, and anyways, thank you for that.
with all these competing, technology and all kinds of programs right now accessible to most people, right? So, where does Freemasonry fall, like as a whole, right, in society or in the world?
Well, Freemasonry has been important, relevant for many decades now, centuries, and it's actually a lot more important now with all the social media, the chat, the internet, because it allows you to interact with the brothers in real time. It's not like and the things that you will the enjoyment that you will get from the social media, the watching things, it's not the same that you will get from serving in your community. When you see how lucky you are, what you have, that you can give something to another person. You're not gonna get that in the social media now. You're not gonna get that in the. You can search at AI. You're not gonna experience that, and that experience you will only get when you're in the fraternity. Yeah, you can read how you can even. I guess there's a video that came out about
The rituals.
how the rituals are
Heard
done.
that.
That doesn't make you a Mason.
It does not.
Like we all said, Freemasonry starts in our heart, and
Facts.
even though you want to be a Mason, you can search everything you want in the internet and all that. You're not gonna get that experience if you don't join in, and you're not gonna experience the beauty of it, serving your fellow man by sitting in the computer
Right.
or
Yeah.
looking at your phone.
And it stood the test of time, right? It's a universal teaching,
Yeah. Philosophy of life. Yeah.
philosophies, yeah. And that's before technology.
Yeah.
All we had was books,
Yeah.
printed,
Word
yeah.
of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth, even,
Mhm.
right? Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. Probably we're doing it in real candles too.
Yeah. Right. Jeez. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I think it has a place, still
Yeah.
in this modern world, and probably in the future too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, we.
I don't know. I just have a quick opinion. Maybe the old English, we can modernize it a little bit.
Right.
But no, that's part of the appeal and
Yeah.
the tradition.
Yes.
so
Yeah. The
it's,
tradition. Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
I don't
it's
like it
another
either,
language. Yeah.
but I think there's it kind of requires us to pay more attention.
For sure.
Like, oh, it's not something familiar to me.
Mm-hmm.
I have to focus on that.
Yeah. It's to a lot of us because nobody speaks Old English.
Yeah.
But it's funny because the longer you go in Masonry, kind of the more you talk in Old English. I do it in meetings, not but I'll drop a little bit of philosophy, and then people are like, "We're talking about like this." They like it,
But
though.
deep inside, yeah, they're like, oh.
I just posted a word in my Facebook, whithersoever. Like, hey,
They're like,
who's
dude,
gonna hear?
Yeah. No, but yeah, if I could offer one kind of piece of advice as we move forward, it's gonna be to echo the Grand Master's vision as far as like sharing the light of
Yeah.
Freemasonry, right? Like we need to do that. It's he always says like, knowing our philosophies, knowing our tenets, knowing what we do, like, would we all agree that Masonry is something that the world needs? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, so let's share the light.
I like that.
Yeah. So
And I know the Grand Lodge also has this 5-year vision thing, and I need to go back to that, and I think that's the vision of the Grand Lodge, and every lodge responsibility, or they should focus on promoting that vision.
mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Well, that's all I have
Yeah,
for tonight. But
for
I
sure.
really want to thank Brother June for coming on to this
Yes.
podcast. Any lasting final words, like advice and just comment in general?
I
You
can't
said
believe
you-
it's over.
I know, right?
It was like
Yeah,
I
we
don't
were-
know why
we
I
were
was
like,
being nervous about. I mean,
Yeah.
this is actually fun. Thank you,
It
thank
is.
you so much.
It's a conversation,
Uh,
right?
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
really an honor to be here, and thank you for everything that you guys do here. Thank you.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
also want to thank the audience. Worshipful Gabe, do you have any last words?
No,
or
I was just gonna say
anything?
thank you for,
Yeah.
for hosting again
Yeah,
and,
thank you
and
again.
for setting everything
Yep,
up.
yep.
If that picture that you took of us earlier with the background stuff,
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's just us getting together, but the way you do it and set it up to make it as real as possible. Like, I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah. I think people need to hear this. People need to know who we are, and you're that conduit between us and them. So thank you.
Oh, no, thank you as well for sparking the fire of doing this as well, because I know a few months ago, early this year, we were just talking about it, right? And I have all this gear, because I dabbled in a lot of things like DJing and music and whatnot. And these are just collecting dust. Might as
yeah,
well
this
put it to
amazing.
Might as
use.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you. And consider subscribing, liking this video, and if you have any questions, we're more than happy to try to answer them for you, especially for those who are not familiar with Freemasonry.
Yeah.
We have all the brains you can pick,
Yes.
from within the fraternity. So that's something we're willing to offer.
Yeah. And
Or
if you're in
the-
Sacramento, downtown on the first Fridays of the month, swing by and have dinner with us.
And we're really serious about that. Just ask questions on the comments below, and
Yeah.
That's how we
But
engage
don't
everybody. Yeah.
but don't come in all crazy with a tank top and shorts and flip flops. Like you know who we are. So
Right. Yeah. We have some standards.
Shoot.
And thank you again, everyone, and have a good evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever you are.
yes,
And
yes.
we'll see you on the next video.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Later.
Bye.
That was fun.